Hello, everyone. Apologies for being a
Hello.
moment late, but we are back.
Yes. And it's a Wednesday, I think.
It's all sorts of weirdness. It's not Monday. I've been gone for weeks. Who knows what's happening? It's just
Never know.
chaos, just chaos. But it is so good to see you again.
Yes, I'm happy
Uh,
you're back.
thank you. I hope nothing too important happened while it was gone.
Oh, all the things.
Well, before we start recording, let's just say hi to some of our folks in the chat. And as always, Michael Bingham's in early to say Halloween Horror Nights forever with his
Woohoo!
Chucky laugh. Welcome, Michael. Glad you could join us on a Wednesday. Hello to Brendan Rubio Boitel, who is going to ride Tina's Bayou Adventure next Friday. Congratulations. I'm looks like I'm going to be going along with some cast member friends of mine in just a couple days.
Yes,
So
there's a lot of previews.
I'm very excited to see it, especially since I have a book about it that is due to my publisher in less than a week. So that'll help, hopefully. In Derico's corner, Blossom and Michelangelo. Hello, as always. Nickel Francis, can't wait. Yes, all right. We'll start this thing in just a second. Skywalker Brian wants to pour one out for Richard
Yes.
Sherman. That was not part of our news this week, but that is definitely some sad news. Hopefully him and his brother can learn to get along in heaven. Right. I know they had their issues, but they
Redemption.
sure wrote some good songs. And also thoughts and prayers to the Pixar folks. 14% of their staff got let go recently. And the Prodigy wants to say hi. Hello back.
Hello.
And Winter Fury, hey.
Hey.
All right. Well, I think, what do you say we just see if I can remember how this show is supposed to go as
I
we
remember.
kick this thing off in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And I feel like it has been forever since I saw you. I've been gone for a couple weeks. How have you been?
I have been great, doing all the things. I was just at the DreamWorks for the preview, the Universal Annual Pass Holder preview. I did the Tribute Store. Have you gone yet?
So my only theme park visit for the last few weeks, I am what we call fringe fried. I have been reviewing shows at the Orlando International Fringe Theater Festival, the largest festival of its kind in the United States. And I saw 85 shows and wrote 52 reviews over a little under 2 weeks. So not a lot of theme parking time for me, but I did get invited to the media preview of DreamWorks Land. So I got to walk around the land for about an hour. I got to see the shows. I got to eat a Shrexel. So yeah, I have thoughts which are actually should be coming out today at orlandoweekly.com. I'll stay positive here and say big props to everyone in the entertainment department who worked on the new show. Really, I think as someone who was a Barney employee and was very skeptical about whatever came in to replace Barney, I think they knocked it out of the park.
The new show is amazing. And I loved when they did the COVID thing with the characters. But now it's an actual show.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Please, people, go see it. It's amazing with the story. The actors that were performing when I just saw it yesterday were amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful vocals.
Great singers, great dancers, great puppets. The video, and you get all the characters. Yeah,
Yes.
First class character show.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My Shrek really tore it up on the dance floor.
He runs in that thing. I was actually just talking to someone who works in costuming, and like that was not designed for people to be able to run it. That's a heavy, like the pods, they like sit on your head and your shoulders,
Yes.
and that Shrek's doing a workout.
I could not believe it. I mean, it is such a top-heavy costume. I was like,
Mhm.
how is he dancing like this and not just falling over? It was really impressive. I also got a Shrexel. Mine was really fresh.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
I
I
I
saw
might have to
them.
give it another try sometime,
Yes.
but it was
Okay.
not a Mickey pretzel, in terms
Yes.
of texture for me.
So it is quite thin, so it's easy to dry
It's
out.
very flat, yes.
Yes, but I was talking to some of the TMs that were working, and they were actually throwing out ones that weren't perfect yesterday,
Mm,
at least.
okay.
So I think it's
I
probably a
I
learning
yeah,
lesson.
I think as the media, we were pretty much, beta testers. Uh,
Yes,
and I
yes,
will say that the green cheese sauce is exactly what it looks like. It is
yes. It was
green.
actually good. I liked it. I mean, it
I
was
I mean, if you like the liquid cheese that you would, get at a 7-Eleven or something,
right.
uh, great, but it's not like compared to like when you go get a pretzel at the NBC Sports
Oh, that's a
Grill and
great
that like
pretzel.
beer
Yeah.
cheese kind of it's not like it's plastic cheese that's been dyed green.
Yes. So did
So
you do the
no,
tribute store yet?
I have not. It was not open yet. I'm hoping in the next day or two to slide over there, but I have seen the videos and pictures and it is stunning.
It is, I will say, the best one by far. I mean, maybe it's
Well,
because
we
we're like 80s kids. I don't
save
know.
save your gushing because that is part of the news in the queue that
Yes.
I think that we should just go ahead and jump right
Let us
into
do it.
now. All right, we definitely have a Universal Spectacular coming up later in the show. But before we talk about that summer tribute store and all the other stuff there, let's jump over to Disney Springs, where Disney once again has a drone show, and you can see it absolutely free now through September.
Yes.
It is called Disney Dreams That Soar. It officially debuted on May 24th, and we attended a media preview. We've got a interview with Tony Giordano, lots of pictures and details about this new 10-minute show, which features 800 drones flying over the water behind Disney Springs.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I was going to go, but it was really hot over the weekend, even at night,
Yeah.
and Springs was chaotic. And you know the way it is. The first night,
Oh,
everyone is there. It took hours for people to leave. So I am really happy with my choice that I sat this one
yeah.
out, but I cannot wait to see it because it does look amazing.
Parking garages are great most of the time, except when there's an event that everyone is trying to leave at the same
Correct.
time. And I heard on the opening night about the nightmare stories about people trying to get out. Hopefully, now that it's debuted and all the bloggers aren't there, it shouldn't be quite as bad. There are two shows each night. Either earlier show, I believe, is at 9 o'clock, and a later show at 10:45. And later shows are always less crowded. So keep that in mind if you're a night owl. It'll probably also be cooler at 10:45.
Mhm.
I swear it's just getting full dark at 9 o'clock now. Last
Right.
night at like 8:45, it was still sky glow. So yeah, still warm. But if you do brave the heat and the crowds, some of the things that you will see up in the sky formed by these drones will include Disney characters from Peter Pan, Dumbo, Wally, Guardians of the Galaxy, Pete's Dragon, Nightmare Before Christmas. My favorites, the Figment and the Orange Bird.
Yes.
And even some Marvel characters like Iron Man. And if you've got one of those Magic Band Plus uh, bands, make sure you wear that because it will light up and vibrate in sync with the show.
Yeah, it really looks wonderful. I loved the old drone show many moons ago. It was 2014,
Yeah, I
2015.
think it might have been 2016 was the last time they
Yeah.
did it, and that was sponsored by Intel, and I think that was a much smaller scale. Obviously, drone technology has come a
Mhm.
long, long way since then, so I'm excited to see this one in person.
Yeah,
Uh,
same here. Yeah, I will be making the trip very soon.
Absolutely. And if you want the best place to watch this, you can see it anywhere along the waterfront on the west side, anywhere between Cirque du Soleil and the Aerophile Balloon. But the best, most central place is if you go right behind the Summer House Restaurant or Haleo.
Mm,
That's kind of the sweet spot. So this is
yes.
going on twice a night through September 6th. The times may change, but right now it's happening at 9 and 10:45 each night. And we'll see how this compares to the drone show that Universal is going to be launching in just a few weeks. That one's got, I think they said 400 drones for this, and this is 600 drones. So I guess we're in a drone war now. See who can
I
deploy
feel
the
like we
most
gotta make like a drone drinking game where every time we say drone, you take a
drone.
sip of
Yeah.
a drink because every
Oh, I would
week
not make
we
it.
are
I'm
talking
not
about
making it through the
drones.
podcast if we're playing that game. No way. All right, next up, Tokyo's DisneySea recently opened their new Fantasy Springs expansion. And if you are not going to be flying over there anytime soon and want to spoil yourself, we have complete POV videos of all the new attractions, and they definitely make me jealous.
Yes, it looks
There's some great
incredible.
stuff. Yeah. So this officially opens on June 6th, but they've been having previews, and it seems
Mhm.
like everyone's already gotten in there with their cameras.
Oh
Uh,
yes, I have been following along, and like some days they open the land to
mhm,
everyone for technical rehearsals. Some days it's closed off, so it's
mhm.
been really fun to see how
Yeah.
it's gone.
So yeah, during this process, our friends have managed to send us some great POV videos, starting with Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, and this was the ride that we knew the least about until it opened. At which point we realized that it's basically Spider-Man with Peter Pan. It's
Right.
a 3D dark ride with motion simulator vehicles, extremely similar to the Scoops. So if you know the Transformers ride or the Spider-Man ride, you basically get the idea. Uh,
Yep.
they
Physical set pieces. Yeah, I was talking to a friend that went on it, and that's what she said. It was very similar.
Watching the POVs are obviously never as good as seeing it in person, especially with a 3D ride like this. But I was really impressed with the transitions. Sometimes it feels like the screens must be super, super long, or in the way it shifts you out of one screen into another or into a physical set. Really well done blending. I was impressed. I wish there were some more actual animatronics. There's like a boat that like falls, and that's
Mhm.
the only physical prop. There's a drum that they bounce on. This one, if this does happen to come to Anaheim's Disney Forward, as some of the preliminary concept art has kind of hinted at, I expect that the scene with the Native Americans doing a war dance will probably not be included in that
That
version
is
of the ride.
correct.
Yeah, don't see that making the transition. But I was
No.
pretty impressed overall. I was also really charmed by the Fairy Tinkerbell's
Yes.
busy buggy rides. I miss Heimlich's Choo Choo Train so much, and I feel like this is kind of its spiritual successor. It's like an outdoor dark ride. It's kind of like one of those old Fantasyland sea ticket dark rides, but it's open air. And it's minimal animation except for a really cute giant mouse animatronic at the end. But it's really adorable. This one looks sweet, and it's got a little bit of spinning too, so that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, this land looks incredible, but I think like many people so excited about the
Mhm.
Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. The pictures look
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah. This is one where they've kind of done a book report, taking you through famous scenes from the movie. But they're executed, especially the dark ride ones. The one where she heals him with her hair, her glowing hair, and then the lantern scene at the end. They're just really, really gorgeous. There's not a lot of action or drama. It's just really pretty and kind of chill. I think the one criticism a lot of people have said that is it feels too short, and it's actually not that short a ride in terms of time. But I think what happens is it's got a long outdoor section at the beginning, and
Right.
then before you go inside, and I think psychologically you don't really feel like the ride is totally started until you're in the indoor section. So you kind of don't count the whole outdoor section. I feel the same sort of way with Reign of Kong over at Universal. Then when that outdoor section is working, it's kind of yes, it's an extra 2 minutes, but it doesn't really
So, like,
feel like
what is
2 minutes of
it? Yeah.
content. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is again, and these are all ones that could conceivably come to California in some form. But I think the real showstopper for me was the Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, because
Mhm.
we've been through so many versions of the Frozen boat ride before, and we're like, all right, we know what we're gonna see, and this is a totally different version of it that I really think improves on what we have in Epcot and Hong Kong in a lot of big ways.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I was excited about this one because, like
mhm.
you said, it is different. The one in
Yeah,
Hong Kong, which you did, basically like a 2.0 version of the
exactly.
party.
Yeah, it's just a plus version of Epcot's, where this is a totally new take on it. It's much more, like I said, book report, retelling the story of the first movie much more closely. But the animatronics, oh my gosh, everyone talks about this Anna at the end that gets unfrozen. And that's a really great one. But there's one a little earlier where when she gets hit by Anna or Elsa's ice beam, and she kneels down, and that kneeling motion, I've never seen an animatronic do a full body
Movement. Yep.
that smoothly. Really great work on this one. There's a couple dead spots. There's one section where just kind of going backwards, looking some video screens. I'm like, oh, they could have spent a little bit more on that. But
We could forgive them
otherwise,
because it is
yeah,
so amazing
this
on
this is yeah, this is a solid A, a solid E ticket for sure. And hopefully, if they do bring a Frozen area to California, it is based on this and not the Hong Kong / Epcot version.
Oh, yes. We definitely need a little bit more Frozen
Mhm.
representation in
Mhm.
Anaheim. So this would be great.
Yep. And on top of the rides, you've also got amazing detail through the whole area, and we've got a walkthrough video showing you some of those great details. And this is all can be found through attractionsmagazine.com, or just head to our YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to take a trip out there, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan it. I really need to give them a call.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we are heading back to the United States, back to Walt Disney World, where we just got a sneak peek inside the new Country Bear Musical Jamboree that is opening sometime this summer at the Magic Kingdom. They've kind of been radio silent for a little while since they announced that the Country Bears were getting this overhaul. But now we've got a peek, and we can see that Bunny, Bubbles, and Beulah are back, and they're wearing brand new pink cowgirl outfits.
Yes. I love these outfits and I love the video that Disney posted about it. They basically were like the bears wear kind of like Spanx, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah.
You think about an animatronic in Spanx.
Yeah. Well, you don't really think about the wear and tear that
Mhm.
the skins and the costumes that these characters say, and they have to design very carefully. They also talked a little bit that when they were talking about the animatronics for Tiana's, about designing the costumes so that they can hold up, and that we don't have any unfortunate wardrobe malfunctions on our bears.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I'm excited to see this show come back. Obviously, they will no longer be singing "All the Guys Who Turned Me On, Turned Me Down."
Oh,
Um,
what a classic.
but I don't know. Maybe they'll sing Jolene. Who knows?
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'm definitely curious when this is going to open because we have Tiana opening so soon, but
Yeah,
there's been like no mention of this, so that leaves me to wonder that maybe it's like later this summer. You know?
yeah. Usually, when we're that non-specific on summer at this point, we're talking towards the end of the season.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Uh, Next up, also in Orlando, if you are a '90s kid, you might be very excited to hear that Orlando is getting a Nickelodeon hotel once
Again.
again. Coming in 2026 on West 192 in Kissimmee. Vacationers and full-time residents are going to be able to stay at the Nickelodeon Hotels and Resorts Orlando. This was announced last year. We recently got some details and concept art about what's going to be happening there. This is a 400-unit hotel condo, and it's going to include a Aquanic water park, a SpongeBob SquarePants inspired restaurant, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizzeria, hangout spots, retail, a kids club, and character greetings with stars from some of your favorite Nickelodeon shows, along with, of course, some opportunities to get slimed.
Yes, this looks amazing. I have been dying to go to one of the hotels in like Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So this looks awesome, closer to home, and definitely a much better upgrade than the original version. If anyone remembers that, that was a little.
So yeah, so a little history lesson here. There was back in the day a thing called the Nickelodeon Suites Resort, which it had a lot of features for a hotel. Like for its time, it had shows, it had 4D rides, it had a lot of things that you do not get even at Disney hotels. And when it opened, had great buzz. It aged poorly. It is now a Holiday Inn resort, Orlando Suites water park, and most of the features are there, but they've been stripped of all of the Nickelodeon branding. And it's an aging hotel, so this at least should be all brand new and nice and shiny. It's located, as I mentioned, on West 192 as part of Everest Place Orlando. This is a 220-acre development, which is pretty freaking huge. This is from the real estate company Terramere Group. And it's just one part of a whole complex that's going to have hotels, stores, and restaurants. And it's located right at the corner of 192 and 429, sort of just southwest of Animal Kingdom, which is actually a pretty good location for commuting on the 429. So if you want to live here year-round, you will actually be able to purchase a studio, a one-bedroom or two-bedroom condo to either, I guess, live in yourself or rent out as a VRBO, as an investment. So, yeah, if you want to live surrounded by bright orange accents,
yes, I do,
and SpongeBob SquarePants artwork, this is your opportunity.
yes.
Or it will be your opportunity at least in 2026. The only thing that we haven't heard anything about carrying over from the old Nick Hotel is the Nickelodeon time capsule.
Time capsule, yes.
Yes, that was buried at Universal Studios in the 90s when that was where they had their Nick Studios. And then it would move to the Nickelodeon Hotel, the old one, for a while. Now it's at Nick's headquarters in California.
Yep.
I don't know if they have any plan. If I was them, I'd probably hold on to it because who knows what might happen.
The curse of the time capsule.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I don't want it. It's like a monkey's paw.
No, yeah. Yeah, this looks great. I'm excited for it.
All right, and now we are going to wrap up our news in the queue by wrapping back to what you were so excited to talk about earlier, which is the Universal Orlando Summer Tribute Store celebrating E.T., Jaws, Shrek, and more. It opened on May 24th. We got a exclusive sneak preview with lots of photos and videos. But since you have been through it in person, I want to talk about some of your favorite parts of this because I cannot wait to go see it myself.
Yes, this is, in my personal opinion, and I saw a lot of people also agreed, like the best tribute store they've done. There's so many.
I feel like we say that every year. That's like,
know.
oh, they just top themselves. They're always setting a new standard for themselves, and it's really proud of those guys.
Right. like literally in the doorway, like the entryway, there's a bulletin board with all these posters. I spent like 30 minutes reading every single one because it's that detailed. And that wasn't even entering the building. Like there was HHN stuff. There was, some posters to like the opening of Universal Studios Florida back in the 90s and Amityville. And there were so many details before you even entered. Like, this was truly a labor of love for creative, and they're obviously very passionate about everything and nostalgia. And again, like if you're an 80s or 90s kid that, you still cherish all those memories, these are all here. And it is just, it is amazing.
Absolutely. And I want to give credit where credit is due. The people who work on this are very creative people, but they do not work for Universal Creative. Universal Creative gets a lot of credit, but this is actually the work of the visual merchandising team. These are the folks who do things like the scarecrow stalk trees decorations that they put up for Christmas, and in the stores when they put up displays. This group was started to do window displays for merchandise, and they have gone on to create stuff that I think is just as good as the haunted houses that are built by the art and design team. And they don't have the resources or the manpower that creative or art and design gets, and they knock it out of the park every single time. So yay, visual merchandising. You guys do not get enough props.
Yes.
And speaking of which, I'll throw this in here. My favorite thing, I've not seen it in person, but in the arcade section, they have done some custom arcade machines that have, I assume it's non-interactive, they're just video loops, but they've created dummy video games. One is for Gurg the Llama, and it looks like someone did a ROM hack of the Atari 2600 ET Adventure, which is infamous as like one of the worst video games of all time and kind of destroyed Atari. And someone has created a version of it with Gurg the Llama, which I think is amazing. But even more amazing than that is the Street Fighter style fighting game cabinet, where they run through the roster, and all of the roster is the people who work for the visual. I especially want to give a shout out my friend Mr. McWilliams, who this is my Spaceballs reference for you. He is the husband of my brother's wife's college roommate. Is now immortalized as a video game fighting character in this.
So cool.
So proud of him that he's finally made it after all these years.
I love it. Yeah, that room is amazing. The carpet alone, I just was like staring at the carpet. I'm like, I cannot. This is it's so good. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I actually didn't look through pictures or videos before going because I wanted to really.
I know I should have stayed unspoiled, but it's just so cool. And
I know. The video store when you first walk in. Okay, I have to say I am obsessed with Mr. Tape. So Mr. Tape is a character that they created for this, and he's like, "Be kind, rewind," and he's all over in posters and cardboard cutouts. I love him, and we need a Mr. Tape merch line because I will buy every single thing. He is adorable. I think he's cuter than Earl the Squirrel. I'm sorry, but he is so cute. And I hope that they come out with some merch for him because love him.
All right. Are you listening?
Yes.
Retail team? Yep. We need that. We've also got a room at the end dedicated to Jaws, E.T., and Back to the Future, and this great diorama from Ghostbusters, this kind of forced perspective of Gozer's Temple. I love that. And it wouldn't be a tribute store if there weren't themed treats from various movies. They all look very colorful. I haven't tasted any of them myself, but they look great.
So I actually went specifically because I wanted to try the Shrek onion cheesecake.
Yes,
it's cheesecake, but it looks like
like an onion. Doesn't it have layers? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they said they didn't have. I went probably like noon and it was already sold out. They said that has been so popular. It's been being sold out right away. So if you want that, go like right when the tribute store opens. Otherwise, it might be hard to get.
Good to know. And on your way out, don't forget to pay tribute to Earl the Squirrel, who finally got his own star on the Walk of Fame. It's about time.
Yes. So good.
All right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of our news in the queue. Before we jump into the main attraction, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
Okay.
It's time for the main attraction.
And for this week's main attraction, we have an absolute avalanche of haunted house announcements for Halloween Horror Nights 33 coming very, very soon to Universal Studios Florida. I guess last week you talked about the first one, Slaughter Cinema 2, was at Spooky Empire. That is a sequel to a haunted house featuring a number of fake movies that have been invented by Universal's creative team, and it's set in Cary, Ohio, which is their favorite spooky town.
Yes, a vital city in lore of HHN.
So that was a popular one the first time around, and they've kept references to movies from like Beast Baby is now, I think there was a videotape for that in the tribute store this year.
There is, yep.
So we'll see what new movies they come up for Slaughter Cinema 2. But since then, we've had 5 more houses announced. So we have a total of 6 houses and not an IP among them.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I think we'll talk about the individual houses, but I think overall, I don't know if this signals a short-term or a long-term shift for Universal. Maybe this is just a cost-cutting measure. They don't want to go out and spend money on a license when they've got all these Epic Universe expenses, and maybe it's cheaper to come up with a 6th house than to license something from Blumhouse or whoever. But maybe it means that they just have more faith in their own creative. They've seen that the IPs that they create for Halloween Horror Nights are sometimes just as popular, more popular than the ones they were spending money on. So
I agree. I mean, personally, I usually gravitate towards the non-IP ones. I love original storytelling. I mean, and HHN, the event itself, is so successful. Does it need to rely on all these big names? Not really anymore. I mean, as evident by how crowded it is.
It's the early years, the first decade or so of Halloween Horror Nights, you had a lot of generic IPs that they would use the Universal monsters, or they would have a mashup house that would steal characters that they didn't entirely have the rights to, or they would have kind of generic themes, and they other than like the Creep Show, the not Creep Show, sorry, the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, they didn't really have a lot of licensed IP in that first decade. And it really wasn't until we got into that first year where you had Jason and Freddy and Leatherface that the event really became IP driven. And it went from having 1 or 2 IP houses to kind of, for a long time, we had a balance of 5 and 5. So this is the first time in many years that I can remember that we've had more IP or more non-IP, more original content than IP. And I'm really excited to see how that affects attendance, how that affects the crowds. Because sometimes we get an IP that pulls in a crowd that isn't necessarily a Halloween Horror Nights crowd or a theme park crowd. They're a crowd for that particular IP.
Yes. And I feel like that was the shift. 2018 to me was the year where everything kind of changed. And that was Stranger Things.
Walking Dead a little bit before that. Walking Dead was the first big one. But Stranger Things definitely brought in a whole new crowd of people, but never come to Halloween Horror Nights before.
Right, exactly. And like that's not a bad thing because we shouldn't gatekeep an event at all.
Absolutely.
It's not but it definitely changed everything, and it's been just more popular than ever. So I don't think this is going to change that because now, people are just hardcore HHN, spooky is a lifestyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can remember a few years ago, talking to Mike Aiello about the transition away from having an icon or a theme that connected the whole event each year. And he was kind of like, Halloween Horror Nights is the icon. The event itself is its own brand. So, you know, maybe they see that, you know, you don't need to say it's Stranger Things at Halloween Horror Nights. It's just Halloween Horror Nights. That's the, you know, that's the draw. So, then again, I say that, and we'll probably get it, you know, Stranger Things Part 72 next year.
Yes.
So let's talk about the next 5 houses that we have announced. As I said, all originals, and the first is called Goblin Feast. Goblin's Feast is going to be a tavern where you are going to visit a goblin's village, and a lavish feast is being prepared for the goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches, and you are the main course.
This sounds great. I mean, I think this one of all of them I was the most excited about. It just sounds so cool.
Well, I mean, it gives them license to just come up with lots of fun creature designs and also have lots of gore. There better be someone getting their intestines pulled out, and you know, while they're still alive, or you know, something lovely like that. Yeah, casual. Yeah. Next up is the museum Deadly Exhibits. The tease for this is you decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit called The Rotting Stone when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path.
Yes. No relation to Taylor Swift folklore.
No. I hope not.
Oh, gosh. Hopefully there's a little Easter egg, because that would be really funny.
That would be funny. Next is one that I know fans have been clamoring for a couple of years. Major Sweets Candy Factory. Yes, the cult hit character from the Scare Zone from a few years ago is back with his own maze. You've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but the deadly, delicious treats turn the kids into sugar-fueled fiends. This might just be an episode of Abbott Elementary. I'm not sure.
Oh gosh, yes, it does sound like that. I am so excited about this. He was such a hit when he had that Scare Zone in 2022. I cannot wait to see, like, I know a lot of people are going to bound as this with the Candy Factory. I mean, there's so many fun opportunities, and this is definitely going to be, I think, the breakout star of this HHN.
And from the logo, it looks like this is going to be the place to come for your Lil Boo cameo.
Oh, yeah. Lil Boo in his top hat.
Yep, exactly. We've got a video from the Sweet Revenge Scare Zone, and you can check that out for a little reminder of what that was like.
Yes, a lot of scary heads.
Next up, I am excited for this because I really enjoyed this house when I did it in Hollywood in 2023. It is Monstruos, the Monsters of Latin America. And this one, you are guided by La Muerte, and you are going to be begging for mercy from 3 terrifying legends whose Spanish names I am now going to butcher. I am so sorry. Tlahuelpuchi, La Lejuza, and El Cibon. My high school Spanish teacher is rolling in her grave.
Yes.
But this was a really cool, you know, this was, at least, you know, since I do not come from that culture, this was felt really fresh and different and innovative. It was not just, you know, kind of the same tired vampires and zombies over again. They're really cool creature designs, really great atmosphere. So I love this one in Hollywood, and I can't wait to see.
Yes, this one in Hollywood last year, this was one of my favorites. I think it's the house I did the most. It was so well done. I was actually just like looking at videos of it to relive it.
Yeah,
it was so great.
Well,
so
speaking of which, we've got a great video of it on our YouTube channel. And the last one that has been announced is Triplets of Terror. You have been invited to... What? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It took me like 10 minutes to realize that one of them is wearing a paper plate. Did you notice that?
This one, yes.
Yes, yes. Paper plate face is what I'm calling it
Yes,
now.
paper plate face. He couldn't afford to be Leatherface. He's vegan, so he didn't want to be Leatherface. So it's just paper. Yes, you are invited to the Barmy Triplets birthday bash, but beware, they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Prepare for a gory gathering. I'm getting a little bit of a Texas Chainsaw meets House of a
Mm,
Thousand Corpses kind of vibe with yeah, this one will probably be very disturbing.
yes, this sounds like it's
So
gonna be straight up gory.
yeah, so there we have it. We have an absolute avalanche. And keep in mind, this is all for Universal Studios Florida. We have had nothing about Hollywood. We don't have
Correct.
dates. We don't have prices. Everything's on sale in Orlando. This seems unusual to me. They usually have slightly tighter coordination between the two. A lot of times there are shared announcements because they've got some shared scare zones or themes or whatever, and we've had zero overlap so far. So not entirely sure what's going on this year.
Correct. Do you anticipate like there's some issues maybe? Is like
I you know I with Halloween, everything is determined usually by licensing agreements,
Mhm.
and a lot of the times it's a matter of getting not just the licensee but all of the marketing partners in line, and that's how a lot of times like we find out stuff from a Publix,
Accidentally, yeah.
yeah, accidentally, from a commercial or an advertisement in a store before they make an announcement. In this case, I don't know, because they have so few IP. Maybe there are completely separate IPs for the two coasts,
Mhm.
and it's taking a while to get that straightened out to announce. I mean, this is awfully early. We're I mean, it used to be back in the day we wouldn't get these houses announced
June.
until June or
Right, yeah.
July. So now, we're still in May right now, so we can't be too impatient. But it is kind of weird how Orlando's like, all right, we're not waiting on you. We're just going to dump it all out there, and Hollywood doesn't even have dates yet.
Yeah.
So that's a little nutty, but
But you
we
know
shall.
what? I've loved it because for the last like 2 weeks with DreamWorks announcement,
Mhm.
Universal has been kind of dominating the news cycle. So I kind of loved how they just did the boom, boom, boom with
Yeah,
HHN. And, as the kids say, we were fed last week.
yeah,
We got it all.
absolutely. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of the show. But before we head out, let us check out some of the comments you guys left for us while we were talking. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of comments, so there is no way that we'll be able to read all of these.
But
But
thank you guys for being excited as we are.
yes, thank you so much. Magic City Mayhem obviously attended the Orlando Fringe Festival and had a shout out for Ross Paget. He and Joel Warren, they're radio personalities here in town. They both done theme park work, and we gave them a Critics' Choice Award. We normally have Best Performer, but because the two of them were so tight, they got to share the Best Performer award for their sketch
Awesome.
comedy show this year. Skywalker Brian did point out that when talking about the new DreamWorks area, I forgot to mention the farting Shrek slide, and they did not let the media go on the slides or climb in the nets or
Oh,
anything. We were
so
allowed
I
to
went
just
on the
walk
slide.
around.
Yes.
How was your slide experience?
So I don't think you're going to be able to do it because you're so tall. So it is definitely
Really,
like a
it
very
looked
tight
that.
twirl. So I had to I'm short. I'm like 5'6". I had to kind of like kick my feet around to keep twirling. You might
Mhm.
have a major issue. But I noticed, I was talking to our publisher, Matt, about this yesterday. I didn't hear any farting inside the slide. So
you
you
just hear it
really
outside?
outside.
Okay.
So we were like, maybe it's because you wait for your friends at the bottom and you like hear them and
farting.
you
Okay.
think they're like farting. It's adorable though.
Okay.
So
Well,
gotta
I'll make sure that I think they're in soft openings right now on
Yes.
a daily basis. So I will have to get over there and thoroughly investigate the fart slide for
Yes.
sure. Skywalker Brian is saying, we are not grateful for how much the OLC and WDI Asia had killed it for Fantasy Spring expansions. Like the AA technology, the audio animatronics are getting too human. Even for, yeah, there's some definite like we're going past the uncanny valley soon. So yeah, it is definitely. And he also points out that the revamped Bears is giving some major Dollywood vibes. Yeah, I hope that there is some Dolly in there. I kind of doubt that she would license her music to a competing theme park, but it would be great to hear some Jolene in there.
Oh yeah. It certainly matches the pink outfits.
Michael Bingham is excited to get some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza when the new Nick Hotel opens. And there is definitely interest because Magic City Mayhem says that his most viewed video ever on his YouTube channel, which you should definitely go check out, is from Nick Hotel's 10th birthday.
Skywalker. Yeah, I definitely recommend going on YouTube and looking at some of the old videos because it is wild.
Skywalker Brian is also a big fan of that tribute store and wanted to point out that there are Dueling Dragons Easter eggs that has a video store staff member working it. Okay, that's awesome. And let's see what else. You guys left so many good comments that we would be here all day.
There's one from Jacob. He asked if we have any movie house predictions for HHN. So what do you think?
Okay, I do not see. Movie house predictions for HHN. Well, as Skywalker Brian says, the 40th anniversary for Ghostbusters is coming on June 8th. We have definitely had some hints that Ghostbusters might be included. I really like the first Ghostbusters house they did, but I think it would be cool if they could incorporate elements from Ghostbusters 2 and or Frozen Empire. So that would be cool. Magic City Mayhem points out that there is an argument whether Universal Monsters houses should be considered original or IP. I'm going to call that an IP. It's an IP that they own, but they're still pre-existing characters. So definitely. That's my vote. And you know what? I'm glad he pointed this out. Skywalker Brocken's killing it in the.
You're always on
the comments. Speculating that the relic in this house is related to the Fear Lantern for the museum. Not confirmed yet, but I have noticed hints in the marketing, in some of the images in that teaser video, that they might be hinting at Fear, which was from I believe it was the 20th anniversary that they brought Fear out, who sort of was supposed to contain all the icons. That was when they were going to stop using the icons, and they hinted that the Fear would come back sometime. So I don't know, maybe 33 is a good time. There's a rumor that The Weeknd might be coming back to Hollywood, and Texas Chainsaw for Hollywood. I had not heard that. Be interested in seeing both of those.
I have to be honest, that was like my least favorite house. I mean,
The
maybe
Weeknd.
Maybe I'm not just a fan of The Weeknd.
You know what? I binged all his videos before going into it, and I did get a really much better appreciation, especially the way his videos all linked together.
Right.
For that, that album. But yeah, I mean, that was not a house that I felt the need to go through more than once. But I have been wishing for years for someone to do a real Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 house.
Yes.
They've done the original, they've done the remake, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with Chop Top, favorite horror movie of all time.
Okay, wait, I did not know this. So you will appreciate this. As a child, I watched 2 every single day for like a period of time. Yes.
This explains so much about you.
So much. Yes. Like when I was like 4 years old, I begged my parents to watch it like every single day. This is my favorite movie.
I was terrified of that movie when I was like in college, and you watched it. Okay.
This explains
so much. All right, and we will end this off with Vince Lamb dropping in to welcome me
Yes.
back. Hi, Vince. Thank you. I'm glad you missed me. I missed all of you too so much. This has been fun, and I promise. I think next week we'll be back to Monday. Like
Yes.
it'll be regularly scheduled. We'll be back on our usual pattern. So thank you all so much for joining us. Before we go, one last thank you to our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Please like to remind all of you to give us a rating, a review, wherever you listen to us. Like and subscribe if you're here on the live stream on YouTube. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search Attractions Magazine on all of your favorite social media accounts. And Carly, where can everyone find you on the socials?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on X at Carly Caramana.
And I am at S. Kuberski and at The Unofficial Guides. You can pick up copies of my books at theunofficialguides.com. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.